So I'm pretty happy with this hand. Elvish Mystic, turn 1 into turn 2. Any of these things is going to be really powerful. If they have any mana rocks, we can kill it with this. We can start scrying with the Woe Strider, or just kill one of their threats, like an early... Maybe if they go for a turn 1 Elvish Mystic as well. Looking at Lysaga like, what is this? Yeah, it's not a very common card. It's a tough one to use. That's why no one uses it. Everyone using Atraxas like no man's business. Okay, so... Right, Elvish Mystic. Next turn, probably Takenuma or Lochthwain, depending on what we want to react to. So, yeah, let's establish some threats here. Swinging in with a 3-2. I mean, it's not fantastic, but it's something, especially when they're going to gain 4 life every hit with the Atraxa. Surely they're going to play a creature or a rock soon, right? Heart of Quran, okay. So we know they're going to have a lot of walkers from that. We've got 3 mana. I think we just Manglehorn that now. Get it off the field. And their subsequent artifacts will also come in tapped due to the Manglehorn's static ability here. It's a decent card because, don't forget, this makes treasures come in tapped, which is pretty viable. Slows people down. Now we could be walking right into a trap, but I guess the Woe Strider is going to be nice because it lets us sack other creatures to scry 1. But I would like to save the goat for the Lysaga because if we get to use the Lysaga here, we're just going to get more value. Ooh, and a Phyrexian Tower as well. So this could get countered. Or killed. Veil of Summer. Okay, so they just want to draw a card. Interesting. Right, okay, so we're in an okay position. We do not have removal for Atraxa yet, though, but we do have a little trick we could play. If they choose to block the Woe Strider, then we can play the Shambling Ghast in main phase 2, sack it, and then put a -1 counter on Atraxa. And the only downside here is they will gain the 4 life from the lifelink. However, we will kill the Atraxa, so I think that's worth it. And we would lose the Woe Strider as well. But can we outwit our opponent here? Just realised their sleeves are the Emrakul sleeves, which is quite terrifying. Aether Gust. Okay. They're going to just put it on top of a library. Sure. Was that really the move? That was a strange move, right? Also, this is a sideboard card. In fact, they've just used 2 sideboard cards in a row, which is kind of odd. Supreme Verdict. Wow, that was a bait and switch, wasn't it? Okay. Dreadhorde Invasion. That's just not going to cut it here. That was such a weird bait and switch. They got us with that Supreme Verdict, I have to say. Okay, Treacherous Blessing is pretty good. I think I'm happy to leave that on top. Yeah, sure. That could have been an absolute genius play, putting that commander on top of our deck, who knows? Draw 3 cards, that's going to be pretty good. No lands, that is pretty rude, I have to say. No lands. Yeah, we're getting kind of owned here. If they do go for the Atraxa, though, we can kill it with the Terra Sunder. So we do have removal for it now. Swinging for 1 takes him to 7. Interesting. Was it going to be a Planeswalker? I mean, if it's a big Planeswalker, we can still kill it with this. So I'd like to draw a land. That would be good. Staff of Completion. Even more ways for them to lose life. Fantastic. And they didn't do anything. Okay. Interesting. Are they really not going to do anything? Apart from play this? Okay, play Virus Beetle. Get rid of a card in their hands. Don't know what they have, but it must be something incredible if they're thinking about this much. Discarding a card. Otawara, interesting. So if we go for Dark Ritual, the thing is, I don't really want to lose everything to a board wipe again, so I'd rather just play stuff that I don't really care about too much. And if they use the Staff of Completion whatsoever, it's going to hurt them. But maybe there was a reason they wanted 7 mana for something like Emergent Ultimatum, which would just, that would be painful. Because they would probably just win the game. Calling it now, if they have Emergent Ultimatum, I think we just lose. Still traumatized by the Aethergust Supreme Verdict, unusual sequencing there, but it just paid off so badly. I always forget when you scry something, it shows it on the bottom of the deck if you put it there. It's pretty good. Oh my goodness. Farewell. Another board wipe. That's pretty ludicrous. Thoughtseize. And a Duress. Well, that really does suck, doesn't it? They're at 4 though, so... This is a pretty toxic deck so far. Everything with base is just removal. Okay. Weirdly, no synergy whatsoever with the Atraxa. So it's just a 4-colour control build. Thoughtseize. Well, they must have something good if they got rid of that. So we literally have lethal on board here. What is their final card? Well, I wonder what the card was that they're trying to protect so much. Growth Spiral. They need a kill spell or a way to get rid of the Terra Sunder. Wow, they're at 1, so they're dead then. Because they can't tap this, because they lose 1 life. Guess we'll never know. But, not gonna lie, I'm very glad to be rid of this opponent. Jeez, that's pretty bonkers how much removal they had. Okay, this is a deceptively good looking hand, I think. We've got the turn 1 Kami, which gives us a temple as well. And it means we can hopefully scry into a 3rd land. Which is always good to see. Okay. So we're facing a Galadriel, which is a Scry tribal deck. Treacherous Blessing is a... I really wish we had the land. I would have kept that if we had. But we just need to ensure our land drops. And saying goodbye to the Treacherous Blessing is a sad state of affairs. 3 cards that would have given us. Turning a downside into an upside as well, because if you don't know the card, whenever you cast a spell, you lose a life, basically. But yeah, giving us 3 cards for 3 is pretty awesome. And we get a land after. Sadly, we cannot play anything else. This came in tapped. So I'll throw in Void. Playing their Scrylands before resolving the Galadriel makes me really sad. I would have tried to bank some of those, I think. For the Sanguine Brushstroke. I wonder if they're a bit behind on mana. They've got no blue, which is interesting. I like to play blue early to feign counter spells, essentially. Still no blue. That's actually a blue card on the side. Ah, okay, here we go. So the Stomper lets them get blue. But they still get green. What? I am a little bit confused. I'm seeing things right, yeah? This can get anything, any basic. Green, green, green. Okay, surely there's a blue coming down soon. How peculiar. Okay. Here we go. So we've got lots of different things we can do. I think we want to Death Sprout the Galadriel first. Get her off the table. Drain them for 1. And we can also swing in for 1 as well. And then I think we're going to use the Lysaga in their turn. The value this gives us is incredible. I mean, we lose 3. Basically, kind of, you don't really gain much because you're losing 3, but you drain for 3 as well. So it's kind of like, it's good in a weird way. 3, 4, 5, 6. So the Stomper can't attack or block until there's 7 or more lands. Okay, so now we're fighting a Tatiana. It's going to be pretty annoying, but we do have to feed the Swarm. So, enchantment, creature, artifact. So that's 3 types in 2 cards, which is what we want to see all the time here. Extinction event. Interesting. Evens, evens, odds, and odds. Let's just do it now. Okay, and then if we go for an artifact creature, it's 2 types as well. Okay, that's pretty good. So we'll pass again. You know, in a strange way, Lysaga kind of says it's a 3/3 lifelink, which I find it even stranger because the paper version of Lysaga is 3 mana for a 3/3, but they made it 4 mana for a 4/4 in Arena. I don't really think they needed to do that. Alchemy adjustments do make me laugh because there's so many broken cards otherwise that they haven't fixed. But they choose to nerf like the most innocuous, tiny things like this. It's such a strange use of resources. And it just mirrors real life politics and parliament in the UK. You know, they're just focusing on the small things that people don't really care about. There's like a cloud. Lost Isle Calling, okay. Whatever they scribe, put a counter on this, and then they can exile it, draw a card for each verse counter, and if there's 7 counters, take an extra turn. Ooh, that's good. So 1, 2, 3 types. So let's keep trading them over and over again here. Nice, okay. So many lands. So many lands. I think cut down is probably going to be used. Yeah, let's cut down here. So, yeah, as I said, I don't really mind losing lands as long as we keep getting them back into play, like the Weatherseed Treaty. We've literally got nothing else to do. Do we want to kill this? Or do we want to save the feed? I think we're going to save the feed the Swarm. And yeah, pass the turn. We are worried a little bit because if they get 7 scries, this extra turn is going to draw them 7 and give them an extra turn, which is kind of crazy. They already have the Great Henge as well, which is ludicrous. Uro, okay, they're going to draw a card with the Great Henge as well. That's crazily powerful and gain 3 life. Only 1 card in the graveyard though, so they won't be able to get that out just yet. It does drain them for 1 a little bit. Ah, it's better than nothing, isn't it? I really do wish these weren't lands. It is a bit sad. 4 lands is a bit much. Kiora, Besta Seaguard, that is kind of scary, but we do have to feed the Swarm for that, and that is, I'm so glad I didn't use that previously. Okay, so now let's sacrifice some more things. So we've got artifact. Or although this is 2 times artifact creature. Yeah, we'll just do this for now. We'll save the servo schematic for a bit later. Oh, okay, we've got some great things going on here. More types. So let's go for the Necroblossom Snarl, revealing this. Feed the swarm here. So we are going to lose 7. But that's a tiny price to pay. And we've got Binding on the Great Henge as well. And you know what? We might as well go for the Ichor Wellspring. This is incredible. Look at all these variations of types we have. And a Lily. So we can actually kill the Kraken in the following turn. But again, 5 lands. Kind of crazy. Oh well. We're doing fine. We just got rid of some super powerful permanents that win games here. Great Henge. Well, there's the River's Rebuke. But we can sack some things here. So what can we sack? The Weather Sea Treaty. So 1, 2, and we'll sack that. Okay, so we gain a little bit of value here. And as I said, we have the Liliana to deal with the Kraken, so it's not too bad. And a Duress. Ooh. Okay. Now our hand is absolutely stacked. Look how crazy this hand is. Maze Mind Tome. So that's an interesting synergy. They can scry 4 times with this to put counters on the Lost Isle Calling. So we're going to want to be cautious. Okay, I think we should be good though. We've got so many things. Enters the battlefield. Create a 1/1. Yep, so we're probably going to just get that out. And then use the tower to sack it to pay for the Liliana. Sack a creature, add black. I mean, we don't even have to go for Liliana, to be honest, but I think getting her out is going to be important. Yeah, we can disrupt them quite a bit, to be honest. We've got the Rex Sage to kill the Maze Mind Tome as well. We can essentially deplete them of all value. I'm finding, annoyingly, playing this deck, there's a lot of ropers. I don't know why. Is it because they just don't like losing to weird decks I've never seen before that actually take some effort to use? I don't know. People just do not like facing this deck, and it's not even that toxic. I'm losing so much value. Sort of. Got 5 mana left. Let's use the Rex Sage. Kill the tome, stop them drawing more cards. At least I've used their best card. River's Rebuke is by far probably the best blue card ever to exist in this format. And then just when they thought they were safe, Duress as well. Counter spell. Okay, so we know what's in their hand. Discard 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, all the lands. So if they play 1 single card here and leave the Mystic, then we're going to get rid of it with the Liliana. So they're in a bit of a pickle there. Okay, so they played the land anyway. That was a bad move. Actually, they've still got enough of Uro. Okay, I think it's okay. Oh, no, they're not actually going to do this. That was stupid. I'm sorry, that was really stupid. So, okay, they're going to basically play it for no value. Sure.
We all have things
Right,
we'd rather
so
get.
Blood Art is first, so we can start making them lose life as well. What about 2 Blood Artists? And then we can kill the Galadriel, which means they lose 2. I would keep the Galadriel in the graveyard so I can sack... Okay, fine. If they kept it in the graveyard, they could have used it as a fuel to get out the Uro, because Uro would have exiled it, and then it would have been a replacement effect. And yeah, we'll leave this back to block for the Liliana, I think. So we have 2 Blood Artists, so it's not looking good for them. But, like, if we trade the Mystic and the Sage, they lose 4. And if they draw a card with the Uro here, they might not even be able to play it, so the Liliana gets even more advantage there as well. They can't even pay for the Lifecrafter's Bestiary. Ironically, they can after the Euro came down, but it's too late. Wow, yeah, that was a great just show of force there, I think. So much value, even through a River's Rebuke. Right, I'm going to keep this hand. It's very risky, but I really like the Treacherous Blessing. Just helps us draw 3. Pretty awesome, because we can then sacrifice this with the Saga. And also we're going to have 2 mana here on turn 1, which is just incredibly good. So Lock Thwain. So yeah, next turn probably go for the Blessing and then start drawing some cards and then get out the Lysaga as much as quickly as possible. Don't forget that the Kami is going to be great, because the way Shoulder works is it makes us want to sacrifice something when it comes in, and the Kami is a great thing that we can get rid of there. And just refilling our hand is really cool. It's almost like we haven't played any cards, and getting a Thoughtseize is wonderful as well, so we can probably do this before we get the Lysaga out to just kind of get rid of some removal, which would be quite nice. Baragoth. Okay, so they're going to search stuff from the top. Shuffles and puts the card on top. Right, let's set up the field then. So as long as we have the Blessing out, we are going to lose life, but I just want to get some more mana out before we do anything else. And we do threaten a double block here, so it's tempting. And I feel like it's a lot of resources to stop this guy, because we're losing 4 types. Artifact creature, enchantment creature, in theory. Oh, they're going to be able to look in our hand and discard something. Oh, that's annoying. And then they've got a 3/4. So for 4 mana, they have a 3/4. And then they cycle a card in our hand. That sucks, but Feed the Swarm goes away. We get a kill spell. And that is a demon. Okay, so they can't actually boast here, so I don't really care about that. Right, let's Thoughtseize. It's going to hurt a bit, because we're going to lose 3 life for this in total. Oh my goodness. Peer into the Abyss. Witch's Vengeance. Shadow's Verdict. I think we get rid of the Tergrid. And let's just set up the field for the following turn. So down to 17, but we should be able to gain some life back with the Lysaga. Of course, this has got Menace, a giant eyeball behind a curtain. Did they miss a land drop here? Did they get a kill spell? None of these actually kill Lysaga, but they might have got a 4th card here that can, which is a bit annoying. Witch's Vengeance. So they're going to kill 3. Okay, they named human. That's a strange one. Take 5? Yeah, okay. I don't really care. We're going to gain some back. Liliana. I think we might have this in the bag, guys. Especially now we're going to drain 3 for each of our creatures. And you know what? Let's go for Liliana as well. We'll make them sacrifice a creature.
But I'm taking the credit when we win. Off you go.
And then now stuff will drain. Now the only downside here is if they go for the Shadow's Verdict, we're going to lose everything. Sort of. Sort of. Because this would exile everything that costs 3 or less and cards in our graveyards. But we can just sack 3 things. And it also gets with their Revealing Eye. So I'm not sure if they're going to be that tempted from it. Let's do this here. we can get rid of. So that's artifact. Sorry, this is enchantment, creature, and artifact. So it's 3 types. So many triggers going off here. And this is why having the multiple types is so important. We've even got the Darksteel Citadel, which is an artifact land, which is surprisingly good in this deck because it's 2 types. Which play discards a card.
Don't overthink things.
And we even have the Castle Thwain to start drawing stuff back again as well. So we definitely have them on the ropes here. What will they discard? Pier, maybe? Wow, they had the Cruelty of Gix. Interesting. And I suppose we can go for the Elvish Mystic. It's another creature who lives another life. But yeah, I think we're going to get rid of the Treacherous Blessing very soon. We don't even have to attack. The ring tempts you, and then they're going to destroy non-legendary creatures in the following turn. Okay, I mean, we could just exile that with Terror Sonder. Okay. Am I worried about the One Ring? Not even. We've got so many ways to get rid of it. Okay, so now we can do a double block. And we can't block it with Lysaga. I guess we can block it with this. I don't know, if you block it with a Gilded Goose, they will choose what they kill. But before they assign the damage, I think I'm just going to sack the Solemn here. So, artifact, creature, enchantment. This is crazy. Drawing 3 every single turn. And drawing an additional one there for the Solemn. Wow. And we can even exile the... Actually, we don't even have to kick that, do we? That's literally just 2 mana for that. Crazy. Get rid of the Revealing Eye as well. Why not? Save the goose. Drain them. I don't know how they're going to get back from this, to be honest. Binding as well. Wowzers. So their Shadow's Verdict is looking pretty good, isn't it? I think we'll get rid of the...
I'm tired of your secrets.
Into the north here. And it looks like the opponent is roping. Ah, of course they are. You know what? It's not very often I get roped these days, but this is just stupid. Absolutely stupid. Absolutely waste of time. Waste of time. Okay, let's play a land. So we get a... And yeah, I think we're just going to pass the turn here. And opponent quits. Absolutely unsporting guy and absolute waste of time. So thanks for that. Today's deck is one of the most complicated decks I think I've ever had to make. Just because when you play this commander, you want to be able to have 3 things on standby to sacrifice for the next turn. So it requires a hell of a lot of setup. Although, saying that, it doesn't need 3 cards necessarily, just 3 types. So tap, sacrifice up to 3 permanents. If there were 3 or more card types amongst the sacrifice permanents, each opponent loses 3 life, you gain 3 life and draw 3 cards. So drain 3 and draw 3. Pretty awesome. The downside of the card is that if the opponent kills this when you haven't activated it, it's going to be really depressing and really sad. So it's a hell of a lot of work and a lot of setup. And that's exactly why it's so hard. And that's exactly why the curve is so aggressive at 1 mana, 2 mana, and 3 mana. We barely have anything that costs more than 3 or 4 because it's just going to be too expensive to sacrifice, and the whole deck wants to keep cycling through your stuff, getting rid of them. So how have I made this deck work? Well, I've taken advantage of a lot of permanents that have dual types. And by that, I'm talking mostly about artifact creatures. Any artifact creature sacked by Baba Lysaga will count as 2 types. You'll only need to sack 2 permanents rather than 3, as long as the second permanent is a third different type. So if you sacked Filigree Familiar, which is an artifact creature, along with any enchantment like Ranger class, you'll trigger the ability and you'll drain 3, draw 3. So it's just so hard to pull this off. But I think the reward can be worth it. You just have to sustain long enough to do so. A lot of these 2-drops do 2 or more things when they come in. So something like Virus Beetle is an artifact creature and it makes your opponent discard a card. So this is doing 3 things for us. It's providing 2 types and preventing your opponent from having cards in their hand, essentially. Stuff like Eye Vector is nice as well because it lets you draw a card when it comes in, and then when you get rid of it, you'll be drawing another card with I keep wanting to say Baby Lysaga, Baba Lysaga. Gleaming Barrier is nice because when it dies, it creates a treasure. The Wellspring draws you a card when it comes in or goes away. Messiah is 2 types twice because it's an artifact creature, it dies. Then you get an artifact creature. Look at the artwork for this, actually kind of sad. You can see a little baby mirror in its tummy, which is a bit sad. Server Mechanic, similar thing. It's an artifact, goes away, creates an artifact creature. So anything is artifact creature. There's a few enchantment creatures as well in the format, but there's not that many that I want to use in the deck. We've got Course of Crucifix, so that's 2 types, and Kami of Bamboo Groves. You want to use cards that you don't normally use, and I think this is indicative of a really cool commander. It's taking you out of your comfort zone, and I found myself removing a lot of staples that I actually normally use all the time, and it felt like I was a bit naked, but it really pushed my deck building skills. Because you didn't want to just have conventional removal spells that are instants or sorceries because they're not providing you any extra value. That's why I've gone for something like Binding the Old Gods. It's a permanent and it kills something. The Death Sprout kills something and gets you a land. Of course, we've had to settle for some because we have to be able to kill lots of stuff. Maelstrom Pulse and Putrefy allow you to kill, somewhat ironically, something of 2 or more types. And even the Rampy is really weird. Stuff like the Weather Seed Treaty comes in, gives you a land, and then separately, it's pretty good value. The first round games gives you so many permanent types: enchantment, creature, and a gold token at the end, which is an artifact. So this is really powerful. Interesting removal spells like Manglehorn comes in, destroy something. Reclamation Sage comes in, destroy something as well. So you get the picture. Put as many things in the deck as possible that give you 2 or more permanent types and or permanents. So yeah, it's a really complex deck type. And I think that's why I put it off so long, because I felt like it was going to be really hard. But I think you'll enjoy it if you enjoy the nuance of... It's a bit like a simulator, like you're trying to build up a city, like The Sims or something like that, SimCity. And even the Meeting Massacre, I've just realised, is, a board wipe on top of an enchantment. So, 2 in 1. Transformers, 2 in 1, more than meets the eye. If you enjoy the deck list, don't forget to check it out below in the description, along with my Patreon and Ko-fi links, which you can access to donate to the channel. Really helps because YouTube doesn't pay me very much at all. It's very sad. But yes, there we go. There's today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Watch another one of my videos for more fun times. Did you know that you can help my channel by watching another one of my videos? Go ahead, you know you want to.